Welcome to this edition of the Rhody Reporter. I'll be your host for the segment, Mark Zaccaria. Election Day 2020 was full of surprises. Here in Rhode Island, as in the rest of the United States, electoral results came in three waves, unlike the one final result which we've long been accustomed. Why the change? Why life in the time of COVID? Rightly or wrongly, governors all across America spun up fears over health safety at crowded polling places. The pandemic had already been the pretext for so many changes to the way we do things, so it seemed natural to use it as the segue to a new and more malleable process of collecting and counting votes. Thus, a number of state governments ginned up court orders authorizing mail ballots on an emergency basis this year. These rulings mostly permitted ballots to be offered, sent out, collected, and counted in accordance with procedures that are far more relaxed than those governing traditional absentee ballots. You may recall that the so-called settlement that resulted in the Ocean State version of this sea change was appealed all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Supremes declined to rule due to a technicality. So little Rhody joined the nationwide parade. In retrospect, what that meant was that the rules had changed. One party knew that very well. They'd engineered the change just so that they could take advantage of it through ballot harvesting. The other party failed to recognize that the rules had changed. So election day results came in three phases. First was day of voting at traditional voting places. Within an hour or so of the polls closing, they were in. State election commissions were able to publish those numbers. Soon after, the results of early voting followed. Early voting was a feature of most of the enabling court orders. It had been conducted using regulation electronic ballot counters in the week or 2 weeks prior to Election Day. In general, that's where the count stood at midnight. Optimism abounded in the GOP as those first results were heavily skewed in their direction. Dems remained calm, though. Then, in the early morning hours of November 4th, the mail ballot results were dropped. Almost all the Republican leaders instantly became distant followers. Rhode Island, like many other states, did not explicitly permit ballot harvesting. Instead, our general laws are silent on the idea. So it was that political operatives analyzed voter rolls to ID their most sympathetic voters. They then visited those prospects and pushed them to apply for a mail ballot, many times offering to help with filling it out and bringing it to City Hall. That's why the turnout percentages were so high. That's why the beneficiaries of these harvested ballots became victors in the days following the election. As state legislatures reconvene in January, you can bet there'll be a strong sentiment to institutionalize those emergency orders into law. Question: is that what we really want? An election season versus an election day? As a society, do we wish to replace door-to-door candidates with high-pressure pitchmen? Because that's what's coming. Your unassuming but very traditional Rhody reporter humbly advises that you be careful what you wish for. You might get it.